Hey, welcome to my channel, and today we're going to be discussing rebuilding the VXT automatic water feeder for steam boilers. And this, of course, is an example on my bench. We're going to be working on it horizontally rather than vertically. So it's going to be a little different when you're out on the field, because this, of course, is going to be attached to the plumbing and to feed the boiler. So without further ado, let's get into getting on to rebuilding the valve. This is the heart of the system in the that we're going to be looking at over time, depending on usage and length of service. The calcium tends to build up and cause this rubber diaphragm to stick in the open position and continue to feed, which is consequences can be pretty serious. So we want to stay ahead of the curve on that. So anything that's been in service for 10 years or more should probably get a rebuild. Or if it's had a lot of usage, you've had a system with a lot of leaks, or you live in an area with high calcium in your water, you might want to see about rebuilding this valve rather. So you want to make sure that the power is off, particularly if you have a 120 volt unit. You can disconnect the wires. Make sure that you make note of which wire goes where on the circuit, or you can photograph it. And you want to make sure the power is off, display is not lit, and you also definitely want to make sure that the water is shut off to the plumbing, to the boiler. What I usually like to do, you can either wiggle these off, or sometimes I'll take a bladed screwdriver and work those off. That's been worked off a couple of times, so it's not as tight as it used to be when you take it off probably for the first time. Then you've got these two screws here, which can be removed with a Phillips. You want to set that aside. Probably have a little dish or something, so you don't lose them. Going to have several parts that are going to be coming out. Then the electronics can be pulled away, and this is fixed in place. So again, verify that the water is shut off to the valve, and I would suggest getting a 1/4 inch nut driver, and you want to have your hand underneath there to catch any parts or screws and whatnot as they drop out. This is 832 by 3/8 thread, 1/4 inch hex head, and there's usually a little plastic washer there which can fall away. It's not the end of the world if you lose it, but you want to make sure that you've got all the parts at hand, and that'll have to go back, or it doesn't have to go back, but it's a good idea. And now you have two screws left. Oops, yep. And then this can come out like so. And you've got, you want to hold this bracket on so it doesn't fall off and cause issues, and I'll show you why in a minute. So this can drop off. Be careful, you want to have it drop off in this way, and you'll see that there's the rubber disc. This will be full of water. Water will be coming out of there. You want to make sure that this doesn't fall out, because what's behind it is a spring. Let's see, did I lose the spring? No, it's still in there. There is a spring in there. You want to be very careful where that goes. What I like to do beforehand is have a container of vinegar. Get some of this stuff from Costco. You pour a little bit in there and just go ahead and drop a plunger, and there's the spring. It's very easy to miss. See it right there? And then this can go in there too. And I usually take either a small bladed screwdriver or a knife, a little pen knife, and that will pry out, and there you'll see the calcium build up. That's not as worse as they come. I've already experimented with cleaning this up a little bit. The disc is usually got a lot of calcium buildup in there. You've probably seen pictures in my other videos. What happens is that the see if we can. There are like two tiny little holes on either side. There's one there by my thumb and one opposite of it. And if they get clogged, the disc will not close properly, and you'll have a flood. So you want to make sure you get the calcium out. So what I usually do is you can start scraping away with the knife. Calcium tends to like to build up in this area, and all in this groove here, and usually on this area here. And sometimes what I'll do, if I have the vinegar available, I'll take a paper towel and kind of dab it on there. And I remember this is going to be dribbling out all over the floor a little bit, so make sure that you don't get the vinegar all over the place, and just sort of let it work a little bit, give it some time, scrape away at it a little. And then beforehand, you want to have VXT's service kit. There's the part number there, 45345, and it is available from supplyhouse.com. You just punch in that SKU number there, and it'll pop out. As of the time of this video, they were on back order and delay. I think if they get more orders for this, they'll have it more readily available. So go ahead and order a couple of these kits. One to use and one to lose. So what's inside of the kit is a little abrasive Scotch-Brite pad for cleaning off the calcium buildup. You got a new disc, the spring, and the plunger. You want to, again, be very careful about not losing that spring. So that's why, in case this disappears, you've got one in the being treated with the vinegar solution. So you take a pair of scissors or something and open this up and keep this sealed. And very importantly are the instructions. Now the instructions, I will say, do not mention the vinegar. That's sort of my idea. But again, they say turn off the water and the power to the control, and they go through the steps fairly clearly and concisely. There they are, showing the Scotch-Brite pad, cleaning it up, and they're showing the proper order and the proper orientation of the plunger. So you want to read, follow, and understand the instructions, particularly the last two, which I won't go into. So once this is cleaned up and you've gotten rid of the calcium, you reassemble the same way. Just, again, be careful that you have the spring in the cap and the plunger is with the point up. I have put it upside down like that. It doesn't work. So you want to make sure the pointy end is up and that the spring is there, because when you push down, it pushes back and has some water in it. And the disc is doing the Vinegar is doing an excellent job of cleaning up the calcium, but I would not reuse this disc, considering the fact that they are so relatively inexpensive and it's just not worth it. It's false economy. You can see there's some calcium buildup on that one. This one's not been treated. That's pulled off. And sometimes you can see here in other instances there's stuff with iron, a lot of iron buildup in certain areas. I usually have a couple of, I always try to have a little extra parts on hand like these guys. They like to disappear. And so let's see, I just don't want to have this video going on for too long. I really thank you. Again, what I want to say, what this kit has to say about Hydrolevel is that they do back up their products. If you were to ask for the same thing for the competitor's product, they wouldn't have anything on hand. They tell you to buy a whole new unit. And well, what I would do is I'd take them at their word. I would buy a whole new unit, but I wouldn't buy the competitor's unit. I'd buy the VXT because it is a superior product and just as important, in fact, maybe more so, they back up their product to the hilt. And the very existence of this kit speaks volumes about their commitment to customer service. So thanks again. I hope this was helpful. And that way you can not have to experience a flooded boiler and the ensuing damage that can cause. I just want to say again that any automatic system can flood because they all have parts that need to be maintained, and this is how we can do it. Thanks again. Stay safe, and I'll see you on the next video.